If you're looking for a truly top-tier wild boar hunt, trust me, nowhere beats Turkey. This place isn't just home to towering mountain ranges, deep-cut valleys, and endless open fields, it's also a wild boar paradise. They're everywhere, packed into massive herds. Just imagine it, dozens of wild boars stampeding through farmland, flattening everything in their path, in the blink of an eye. What would be left to harvest if you didn't stop them? But let's save that for later right now. Join me as we kick off this wild boar hunting adventure. It was a foggy morning after an overnight rain, but our determination to take down wild boars hadn't faded one bit. Despite the limited visibility, the hunting dogs were on point. They tracked down a boar moving along the mountainside. When it bolted, I followed, choosing the perfect spot to set up an ambush. As it passed along the narrow trail below, I didn't hesitate. 2 thunderous shots rang out. Perfect. The boar dropped instantly. A clean, swift end well-deserved for a relentless destroyer. As the fog cleared, we climbed the towering mountain peaks in pursuit of even larger wild boar herds. Even when we spotted just a single boar, we gave it our full focus, determined to bring it down. We stuck to a proven strategy. I took position on a rocky ledge, barrel pointed downward, waiting for the target to appear. And the moment the boar darted past, I pulled the trigger without hesitation. The sharp crack of a shot echoed through the valley. The victory was mine. The boar collapsed moments later, disappearing into the thick underbrush below. Winter had begun to creep down from the mountain peaks. We could already see the snow-capped summits in the distance. On a densely wooded slope, the hunting dogs picked up a fresh scent and quickly flushed out another wild boar. It wasn't the biggest target we'd seen, but it was fast and agile on its feet. The dogs gave chase, but at one point, the boar turned and fiercely fought back, lunging at the pack. I had it in my sights, but the distance was too great for a clean takedown, so I held back and kept tracking. Then, deep in a quiet stretch of forest, we were hit with a surprise. Not just one, but an entire herd of wild boars burst into view, fleeing in chaos. We quickly regained composure and opened fire. Some went down immediately, while others scattered in panic. The entire hunting team joined in, unloading round after round, until the last of a herd was taken care of. That afternoon, we continued tracking the herd as it moved along the mountainside. The terrain was rugged and the weather unforgiving, but the moment we spotted a massive group, over 30 wild boars pouring into the valley, all exhaustion vanished. From our ambush positions, we raised our rifles and opened fire. Though we didn't bring down the entire herd, the damage we inflicted was more than enough to make them think twice before returning. Crossing the high mountain ridges, we tracked the herd of wild boars into a narrow ravine. In the dense undergrowth, the boars tried desperately to escape, but there was no slipping past the hunters. Gunfire echoed through the country, mixed with the cries of boars struck down by well-placed shots. After a long, intense effort, we managed to take down nearly 10 of them. day-long hunt had left us exhausted, but the rewards were well worth it. After taking down a few more, we made our way off the mountain before nightfall. I'm sure you wouldn't be too happy if a group of wild boars tore through your garden and destroyed your crops, would you? They hate these wreckers. Just one look at their trampled cornfields, ruined before harvest, and you'd want to stop these boars too. But it's not that simple. Despite countless efforts, locals still haven't been able to get the wild boar population under control. That's why the hunts continue until the very last of them is gone. It was a physically demanding hunt, but the sense of accomplishment was more than enough to keep our spirits high. This is a relentless fight to control a destructive wild species, and we're not backing down. Thanks for following along this journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. If you think feral pigs are just a problem for the States, if you're in the South like Texas or Florida, look to the northwest of the United States, where Idaho's wilderness is struggling to fight off a fearsome invader, feral hogs. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, a herd of pigs can destroy more than 20 acres of farmland overnight, causing hundreds of thousands of dollars in crop damage each season. But the physical damage is nothing compared to the real danger when you encounter them in the dark. Our trip this time started with a warning from a local, and that night we were truly surrounded. In the quiet of the night, despite limited visibility, thanks to the thermal scope, the target was clearly visible. I followed closely, then chose a perfect ambush position and was ready to fire. Just a moment later, gunshots rang out, tearing through the night. The wild boar fell immediately, quickly, decisively. A worthy end for the one who had destroyed the crops and lives of the people here. In extreme excitement, we continued to shoot at other wild boars. I always tried to aim straight at the head or lungs, where I could take down the target most quickly.
Hey.
The herd of wild boars here was really large. In the darkness, through the thermal scope, I could see dozens of dark figures moving silently among the bushes. But we had prepared in advance. One shot, one kill, that was the rule. And to get such shooting technique, we had to go through hundreds of hours of non-stop field training. But our goal did not stop there. Determined to hunt even bigger wild boars, the group continued to look far away, straining their eyes to search for even the smallest movement in the darkness. And then it appeared. A large wild boar, walking slowly with a high alert look. But we were ready. From the ambush position, I kept calm, waiting for it to get within the ideal distance. That was when a single bullet hit it straight in the head. The boar stopped and collapsed on the spot, making the group unable to hide their excitement. So we kept trying, taking down a few more targets one by one, accurately and neatly. At this time, the wild boars seemed to have sensed the approaching danger. They began to panic and run away. However, thanks to the thermal scope, I could clearly observe even the smallest movements. In the view through the thermal scope, I discovered a giant wild boar slowly moving ahead. I quietly approached, trying to get as close as possible to ensure an accurate shot. However, there were quite a few targets who escaped. Not letting the wild boars escape, we immediately divided into groups and quickly chased in the direction the herd had just fled. As soon as we reached the ideal ambush position, I immediately opened fire and took down the first wild boar. After that, I continued to adjust the gun and shoot the others. The herd of wild boars panicked and ran away, hiding under the green trees and disappearing behind the hill. We were still determined to pursue the wild boars to the end. The whole group carefully observed, not giving any wild boar a chance to escape. Gunshots rang out continuously. Therefore, every few minutes, gunshots rang out, signaling that more wild boars had been taken down. The night was late, but we still did not rest. At this time, giant black shadows were leisurely forging in the fields, unaware that death was near. I held my breath, aimed carefully, then pulled the trigger. When I had aimed at the target, I quickly fired. The loud sound made the pigs panic and run away. However, our group of hunters did not let them escape. All carefully adjusted their guns, trying to take down the entire herd of pigs. After many difficult hunting trips, I realized one thing. Tracking and locating wild pigs from the ground is not only difficult, but also potentially risky. Especially when they quickly escape into the bushes. Determining the direction is almost impossible. So, a bold idea came up: hunting wild pigs by helicopter. In the US, wild pigs are not only an invasive species, but also a nightmare for the agricultural industry. With an impressive reproductive capacity, an average female pig can give birth to 12 to 20 piglets per year. They destroy crops, erode the land, and cause billions of dollars in damage every year. That is why controlling their numbers has become an urgent task. Can I control the situation? Join me in this dramatic battle. Today, I decided to try a new method: hunting wild boars from a helicopter. With the support of a Robinson R44 Raven and a Wedgetail Industries WT-25-308 Winchester rifle, a specialized weapon with high accuracy. When everything is ready, we start to set off. Our destination is the open land near the forest and the nearby fields. Walking around, I check the terrain, as well as look for traces of the invaders. It seems that hunting by helicopter is a good choice. From above, the wide observation range helps me easily detect their traces: plowed land and destroyed crops. Flying across an open field, I spotted the first targets. They were impressive with their shiny black fur. The size of adults up to 100 kilograms and sharp fangs. Tom quickly adjusted the altitude, kept the plane stable, and approached the target. With the skills and experience accumulated over the years, I raised the gun, decisively pulled the trigger. One shot, one kill. In order to quickly take down the wild boar, I held the gun tightly, calmed down, and chose the vital points. The noise from the helicopter made the nearby wild boars panic, rushing out of their hiding places. However, it was a wrong choice. The helicopter circled over the field. We had just discovered a herd of about 10 wild boars, all of them large in size, and with an incredible speed, up to 40 kilometers each. When the first shot rang out, I knocked down one. The rest immediately scattered to run. This is also a quite typical behavior of wild boars. However, the helicopter gave us a superior advantage. When the first shot rang out, I quickly knocked down one. The rest immediately scattered to escape, but each shot was a sentence for the invader. In this chase, the wild boars could not defeat the power of the helicopters. When Tom chased another herd of wild boars, I fired continuously, but it seemed that the herd of wild boars had realized the danger. They had learned to avoid my attacks. Indeed, this hunting experience from above was not as easy as I thought. From the edge of the forest, Tom flew back to the field. When hearing the sound of the helicopter, they quickly ran into the dense bushes, making it difficult for me to find the target. However, thanks to Tom's ingenuity, we discovered a larger herd of more than 10. Not being able to miss the opportunity, I focused on the biggest ones, pulling the trigger continuously. The wild boars were taken down one by one. We quickly chased the remaining targets. From the edge of the forest, Tom flew back to the field. The final targets gradually appeared. Unable to miss the opportunity, once again approached and surrounded the target. Confusion and panic had made them lose their inherent flexibility. 14. A few minutes passed. the entire herd of wild boars had been taken down by me. Adult wild boars, weighing 80, 120 kilograms, were scattered across the field. After many hours of hunting, we took down about 50 wild boars. However, this number was still a small number compared to the millions of individuals that were destroying the United States. However, that was also the motivation, giving us more strength for the next hunting trips. In the rural southern region of Alabama, wild hogs aren't just a nuisance, they're a full-blown disaster. Cornfields are torn up overnight, and vegetable gardens look like war zones. Wild hogs have lost their fear of humans. They sneak into residential areas after dark, digging up yards, flipping trash cans, and there have even been cases of people getting seriously injured trying to chase them out of their own backyards. Faced with this growing crisis, we, the local farmers and hunters, couldn't just stand by. A carefully planned hunt was set in motion. Join us on this tense, heart-pounding, and dangerous journey in today's video. Once we were all in position, I carefully loaded my rifle and waited for the wild hogs to show up. The rest of the team and the hunting dogs started sweeping the area, and sure enough, the hogs soon emerged. They weren't huge, but they were incredibly fast. I fired several shots and missed. But just as one of them was about to vanish into the brush, a final well-placed shot brought it down. Right after that, another hog burst out in front of me. I had just enough time to aim and squeeze off a perfect shot, dropping it on the spot. During a tense chase, a medium-sized hog appeared, looking fierce and aggressive. I didn't hesitate. I lined up my shot and fired. Bullseye. It dropped instantly. In this area, the hogs don't stand a chance. We're seasoned hunters who know our weapons and can hit targets at any range. But our plan didn't stop there. We kept tracking the hogs, fast, cunning animals weaving between bare trees. This was the moment. All eyes locked in on the target. Then came the crack of gunfire, and down went the biggest hog yet. That rush of victory was unforgettable, marking one of the most intense hunts we've ever had. About 30 minutes later, I spotted another hog at very close range. It didn't take long. With a single clean shot, I brought it down instantly. The afternoon here was calm and peaceful, which meant the hogs felt safe enough to come out and forage. We stayed quiet, watching from a distance, then launched a surprise attack. The herd barely had time to react before several of the big, tusked males were already down. We spent the whole day tracking through rugged forest terrain, chasing after hogs. From the perfect ambush spots, we unloaded a volley of shots. At these ranges, experience and accuracy make all the difference. Every hog that showed itself was taken down with precision, and our pile of game kept growing. Even after that, more hog herds kept moving through the area. We stayed alert, scanning and selecting targets carefully. By the end of the day, we were completely exhausted, but incredibly proud of what we'd accomplished. Texas is one of the regions hit hardest by wild boars, making them a serious threat to local agriculture. Today, my friends and I are heading out on another wild boar hunt. This isn't just a way to control their population, it's also something we genuinely enjoy. Stick around to see if we manage to take down any boars this time. As usual, my friends and I drove out to the wide open grasslands behind the mountains to kick off hunting trip. Since this is a familiar hunting ground, several feeders and hunting stands had already been set up to lure the wild boars in, and this time was no different. From the stand, I adjusted my rifle for the best line of sight. There it is, our target completely absorbed in enjoying the tasty grains. I held my breath. With a swift pull of the trigger, the bullet shot out, and the boar dropped instantly. A smooth, promising start. With each quiet step, I carefully moved through the bushes, trying not to make a single sound. Reaching a good vantage point, I could see the wild boar moving in and out of view, almost blending into the dry grass. It looked extremely alert, ready to bolt at any second. The moment came. I fired, the bullet sliced through the air. The shot rang out, and the boar staggered. Without hesitation, I took the second shot, and the wild boar finally collapsed, taken down. As we followed the forest trail, our eyes constantly scanned for signs of wild boars' jagged hoofprints, and patches of freshly dug earth stood out clearly on the damp ground. It was obvious these animals had become a nightmare for local farmers. After a long, silent wait, we suddenly spotted a lone wild boar. Its size was far larger than the ones we usually encounter, making our entire group extra cautious. My heart pounded in my chest as I prepared to take the shot. Then, as the target came fully into view, I took aim and held my breath. Shot rang out. The bullet cut through the air, and to sweat the distance, the wild boar dropped instantly. As the sun began to set and dusk settled in, we spotted a group of wild boars foraging, digging into the earth in search of food. In the fading light, we watched closely. Concentration, I decided to take the shot aiming at the largest boar in the group. A single, decisive shot, unexpectedly precise, dropped the target on the spot. Wasn't the end. A new group of wild boars had just appeared, and our determination only grew stronger. Without hesitation, a shot rang out, leaving no chance for panic or escape. Another massive target was taken down. Unfortunately for them, today they crossed paths with us. The squeals of startled boars echoed through the air, but I wasn't about to let them get away. One shot after another, and the wild hogs dropped one by one in the tall grass. As night fell, we returned home with spoils from an exhilarating day of boar hunting. The wild hogs would now become a delicious meal. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. In the countryside where I live, wild boars aren't just wild animals, they're a terrifying nightmare. During the last harvest season, not only my family but the entire village had to watch as the fields were torn apart by their hooves. The damage was devastating. All our sweat and hard work went to waste, making our already tough lives even harder. We couldn't endure it any longer. I, along with my friends, decided to hunt the wild boars, hoping to drive them away from our fields. Let's begin the hunt together. We followed the mountain trail, heading toward the hills near the residential area. As soon as we arrived, the pack of elite hunting dogs couldn't hide their excitement and rushed off to search. Not long after, barking echoed the first target had appeared. It was fleeing at breakneck speed, but how could it possibly win? In just a brief moment, I fired a single shot that completely brought the wild boar down. Look at that, it's no small boar. With a body like that, it must weigh dozens of kilograms. Right after that, I hurriedly chased a wild boar along the path. Seizing the best possible opportunities, I tried to fire several shots. It wasn't until the boar attempted to cross the road that I was able to make an accurate shot. The sound of hunting dogs echoed from the other side of the mountain slope. The herd of boars suddenly panicked, scattering in all directions. My teammate and I stayed hidden, ready for the next shot. One appeared, large and fierce. The first shot didn't bring it down, but we didn't give up. We kept chasing it across slopes and through thick bushes. Finally, I found the perfect position, and the moment it entered my sights, another trophy added to today's hunt. Oh, a giant wild boar has noticed our presence. It's about to run away. You know, I definitely won't let that happen. And then, a deadly shot was made. The target was taken down in a split second. Gunshots echoed from a far side that wild boars had appeared and were being pursued by other hunters. Once I spotted the tracks, I immediately gave chase. The herd was running incredibly fast. Even though I tried to aim and shoot, bringing them down wasn't easy. The chase went on, and I had to keep running after the wild boars. After a long and exhausting pursuit, I finally caught up in the fight. But I only managed to take down one. The rest escaped out of sight just in time. From the rugged mountains, wild boars often make their way down to the fields in search of easier food. They don't just forage, they turn the rice paddies into ideal hiding places. But for farmers, this is a never-ending battle. These boars have grown increasingly aggressive, showing no hesitation in attacking livestock and even people. Understanding the severity of the situation, we're always ready to fight, day or night. At this point, hunting seems to be the most effective solution. Even though it was already late in the day, I still wanted to hunt a few more wild boars. Over on a distant mountainside, one suddenly dashed past. I quickly raised my rifle and pulled the trigger repeatedly. After that burst of gunfire, my teammates and I had successfully taken down one more target. After a long day of chasing, ambushing, and fighting, we brought back many valuable trophies. But more importantly, we know that the battle against wild boars is far from over. We don't wish for this conflict to go on forever, because our ultimate goal is to live in peace without clashes between humans and these wild animals. Thank you for following today's journey. We hope this video brought you some relaxing and enjoyable moments. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel.
Smart, active, mischievous. That's what we usually think of monkeys. But do you know, behind this animal are countless moments that make the whole world admire, laugh, and even be moved. Langur monkeys, which live in the rainforests and Rocky Mountains of South Asia, are known for their highly social nature and strong family bonds. In the above situation, the Langur monkeys received the spy monkey, a sophisticatedly designed robot that made the monkeys curious. However, not all monkeys remained calm. Some became so excited that they closely examined their new friend, and one even tried to figure out the origin of the hidden camera. That curiosity led to an unexpected incident. The robot was dropped and lay motionless on the ground. Immediately, the whole monkey troop assumed that their new member had passed away. What happened next stunned observers. The monkeys sat carefully around the fake monkey's body, grooming themselves with the same care that monkeys do to comfort each other. Another interesting sight occurred when a curious baby orangutan removed the white sheet covering his face. Underneath the cloth was a rubber snake, a harmless object, but enough to cause panic among the group. The baby orangutan, after a few seconds of observation, realized the danger and immediately ran away, hiding behind the other orangutans who were already hiding. The group immediately hugged each other, eyes filled with worry, forming a defensive circle against the enemy. Orangutans, a type of primates, are known for their high intelligence and ability to learn from their environment. They typically live in the rainforests of Southeast Asia, where snakes are one of the most dangerous predators. Therefore, their fear response is the result of a survival instinct that has been developed over thousands of years of evolution. Orangutans are unique in their ability to form strong social bonds. When faced with danger, they often seek comfort from group members. This increases their chances of survival in the wild, where threats can arise unexpectedly. In proboscis monkeys, the dominant female usually takes the lead in important decisions. While males are often hesitant to make bold moves, they are quick to follow suit when the dominant female takes action. In particular, proboscis monkeys have a superior swimming ability compared to many other monkey species. This is not by chance, but an innate ability aided by their webbed feet, which help them move quickly through water. Leaves are an important part of the monkey's diet, especially the young, fresh, nutritious leaves. To get the tastiest leaves, they sometimes face a great challenge, crossing dangerous rivers where crocodiles and other threats are present. The Luan monkey is a primate with an extremely developed sense of smell, which helps them identify food sources from a distance, especially ripe fruits. Their sense of smell not only helps them find food, but also helps them identify predators and hazards in their environment. With their long fur and large tails, lion-tailed macaques also have a distinctive appearance that makes them easy to identify in the wild. Similarly, with an extremely sensitive sense of smell, squirrels can also detect delicious ripe jackfruits from a distance. However, when this jackfruit becomes a target, this monkey will not let this opportunity slip away. As soon as the squirrel touched the jackfruit, the monkey rushed forward like lightning, slapping it repeatedly to grab the food. As you know, monkeys are animals with very complex social structures, especially monkeys that live in groups such as macaques or long-tailed monkeys. In these groups, power and social status play an important role. High-ranking females often have greater power and sometimes use this power to take the young of lower-ranking females. This is a survival tactic that helps high-ranking females maintain dominance and ensure the development of the next generation. The child's mother, in anger and pain, decided to groom the kidnapper's companion, thereby approaching and finding a chance to get her child back. Hamadryas baboons are distinguished by their clearly hierarchical social structure. Each group in the troop typically consists of an adult male, several females, and juveniles. The alpha male has control over his group and is responsible for defending the territory. This hierarchy is not only about power, but also affects social relationships within the group. In such a hierarchically structured society, loyalty and discipline were vital. When two rival families are at war, betrayal is not tolerated. Monkeys, especially females, who betray or disobey the leader's orders will face severe punishment. These forms of punishment may include physical attack or being excluded from the group, which can result in loss of protection and food sources. That's the end of the video. What do you think about today's topic? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to stay tuned for more interesting and exciting videos. Now, goodbye and see you in the next video.